What's going on, everybody? We back with another special episode for Let's Have a Conversation with Also Dope Live. And today we have our guest, Norfolk Councilman Carlos Clanton, who is a dedicated public servant who's helped shape Norfolk through innovating, collaborating, and just a vision. The efforts have just been very outstanding, and his voice and his impact will last forever, through his legacy that he's created just with this city here, and expanding as we speak now. Appreciate you joining the show.
Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, how you feeling today, man?
It's good. I mean, it's like a normal day, ripping and running. We got a lot going on in the city, but it's my passion. Get up, make it happen. It's something different every day, and that's what I enjoy.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you for finding time to, be able to do this, how to sit down, like I said, and share your thoughts and opinions. I gave you the vision. You saw it, you was with it, and I was like, man, that's dope. So thank you again.
No problem. And it always helps that you're a Commodore too.
Yeah, yes sir, man. Shout out to Maury High School.
Maury.
Shout out to Maury, absolutely. And that, like we were speaking about the school, legendary. A lot of great people came from that school and made something of themselves, and it was a reflection of just the Norfolk community as well, like yourself, and just a beautiful thing. So what was it really like being from Lambert's Point and Norfolk and Park Place and Lambert's Point? What was it like,
So
your lifestyle, I should say.
I mean, I'll tell you this. I represent LP Park Place all day long. I'm gonna tell you, it was growing up in the '80s and the '90s. It was different from now. When we lived in Lambert's Point, we stayed in a duplex on Elkhorn Avenue there, and then we moved across the street and we lived in a I consider it was probably from the 1940s, a duplex that we stayed on the top floor, and that was my mom. I'm the oldest of three, and so it was a two-bedroom. So we stayed there, and then it was my freshman year in high school that my mother got her housing voucher and Section 8 voucher, and we moved on 36 in Newport, and that was the first time that myself, my brother, and my sister got our own room.
Okay.
So it was my freshman year in high school. So, when you think about those, looking back now, they were surrounded by love. I had my grandmother, my church family, things like that. So yeah, there were things going on around me, but I just thought it was the norm, And so now as someone who is serving a public office or just been advocating as an urban leaguer, when I look at housing insecurity, I realized that I was an individual who went through that. That if my mother didn't have the opportunity to get that housing voucher, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to be able to experience living in a house. And so this is why I'm so passionate about these things now. But Park Place, Lambert's Point, they hold a special place in my life, man, heart. Those when I go back and I'm just like, man, yeah, I remember such and such, or we grew up together. So yeah, it's a fabric, and Lambert's Point is one of the oldest neighborhoods, man, in the city of Norfolk. But yeah.
History right there, man.
Oh, definitely.
And that was going to be what I wanted to play, part of the question I was asking when you said Lambert's Point and Park Place. Your experiences plays into how you look at things as far as your vision of what you want to do next, the next order that you want to put out, or going about it. So they definitely played a part in it. So
no doubt. I mean, my lived experience gives me a different lens to when I approach certain things. And so when I look at it being, I'm in a position to be able to speak and to see things for those who may not have a voice. And so I have to dress the part. I got a suit and tie, I'm coming in, those things like that, but I've never forgotten where I've come from. And I'm always going to bring that lived experience to how I make decisions and how I go about it.
Oh, man, that's well put. When you're not doing the council meetings and events, how do you usually like to unwind?
I think, just a general talk. Sometimes, look, public service is a labor of love. because you really have to make a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah.
And people see, oh yeah, you know, you on this, or I saw you on TV, or you this, that. A lot of times, yeah, you may see me on TV, but I'm doing the work, or I'm in a meeting. And so there's a lot of sacrifices that you get in really just your downtime. So when you do get downtime, it's something you hold and covet. And so I'll start this. Vacation time is intentional. I'm learning that now, that you got to build time in so that you can unwind. But then also pacing yourself, because I'm an elected official, but I also have a full-time job.
Right.
I'm running an organization there. But like I was saying, probably today, if the rain don't hold out here, I'm gonna get on my bike. I love getting on my bike and riding out there, good exercise, but it's just really good mental therapy. Put my music on, just something about that freedom of being in the air and just kind of moving around, and then seeing, because I ride through a lot of portions of my community that I serve and represent. Movies, my church, I sing in a choir, praise and worship leader there. And then on Saturdays, like probably around 6 o'clock, I get to get around with a couple of my friends, and it's like a normal thing. We meet up, we get a couple of drinks, and then we're gonna get some food, try out different restaurants and things like that, and just kind of like commune for like the week and find out what's going on. And then I like to try different things. Like there's some new stuff. Like I don't know if people know, we got electric boats.
Electric boats?
There is a company. I cannot remember the company's name right now, but look, I'm going to put it out there, make sure you get it. But on Collie Avenue, it's at the northern part of Collie up there, you can rent an electric boat. And you can have I think it's like 9 or 10 of your friends. It's got the table, cabana thing down. You can do 2-3 hours, get your little charcuterie board, get your wine out there, and you can go out. And I was like, yo, that sounds pretty cool. Pretty dope to do that on the Elizabeth River or the Lafayette River. So so it's just finding out those new things. And for me, it's kind of like, hey, did you know about this? Because I hear about that all the time. People are like, ain't nothing to do in Hampton Roads. And I'm like, what planet are you on? Because there is so much going on. Today, we're downtown. International Tattoo going on. NATO Festival is going on. Virginia Arts Festival. Slover's got their 10-year anniversary going on. That's just a small bit. I left earlier today. Trail Day is going on out there in Lambert's Point. I mean, there are all these activations and things going on, but it's trying to create that, what I call the intersect, to try to find there's something for everybody, and I don't want anybody to be left out. But how can we elevate those things and promote those things out there? So
Yeah, and one thing I can't say about Norfolk is diverse. It's growing to be more diverse.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a military state. First of all, Virginia is very military. It's a melting pot.
Yep.
So the diversity that I see that Norfolk is bringing a lot of people in. And like you said, there's always events. I hear it, it's nothing to do on the Hampton Roads. And I'm like, it's plenty to do. You know, we look at the calendars, there's always events going on.
But I tell folks, now, if you're looking for the club, there's some clubs around here. There's some things that you can do in that respect, but there's not an oversaturation of that. You know? And you got to kind of look at what that stage and point of life or where you are and what you want to do. But there's a lot of things that you can do, and that's one of the focal points for me on council, is working with my colleagues, working with our different partners and entities within the city to bring back that sense of vibrancy. To identify that.
Yeah, that plays, man, that's major right there, man. And it helps, and it gives people something to do, in their pastime. Because like you said, the club scene is nice, but it's so many other things that, it's about really expanding your horizons.
So if I can give a little sneak peek. All right?
Okay, sneak peek.
Sneak peek, here we go. So in the next 2 years, Norfolk is just going to be catapulted to a whole nother thing. Like a lot of people don't realize now we have a cruise ship. I was mentioning it to somebody, said, oh yeah, their cruise out from April to November. And I'm like, no, we have a home ported cruise ship here now. Year-round cruising. Carnival Sunshine is our ship. We have our own cruise ship. So that's why if you come downtown every week, there are people coming in. There's 3,000 plus people coming into the city every week, and 3,000 people going out. And on some days, you got 3,000 coming in and another 3,000 coming out. So you got about 6,000 people that are converged in the city of Norfolk. So you got that. Well, next November, our casino, temporary location, is going to be up and running. Another year and a half from that will be the new resort. So we don't have just a casino. I ain't hitting on nobody else on the other side of the water. But we've got a resort. That means 200 bedrooms, that's on in the resort. You got the casino, the gaming floor. There's over 9 different restaurants that'll be in there. You got meeting room and space. So you got that's right next to Harbor Park with the Tides, which is growing up and down there, and some future things that could be coming there. I can't really get into that one, but we're forward thinking, activating all of that. So one of the things you'll hear is this thing called destination tourism. Mm-hmm. We're working on destination tourism, getting people into the area, and not just Norfolk, but Virginia Beach and the resort there. Mm-hmm. We've got over $2 billion over the next decade of investment going into the airport. We're gonna have our own call rental center, man. But then we're also looking at a hotel connected right to the airport, expanding. So you going to the airport now, you either got to go to Concourse B, A, you're going through two different TSA checks. Well, if they move the TSA checkpoint closer to the middle, we can get more connecting flights. We're also working on more direct flights, more international flights. So you just think about that. That's bringing people into Norfolk, helping the economy, bringing that sense of vibrancy. And I want people always to remember this. If it's something not here that you want, you have the prime opportunity to make it happen. In any other metropolitan area, you probably got 150, 200 more people that are doing the same exact thing. In Hampton Roads, you have the opportunity to create the blueprint for yourself. So I need people to look at it in a different perspective. If there's something missing, then make it happen.
Right.
Yep.
Wow, man, well put, man. Wow. Yeah, big plans for Norfolk. We got an exclusive right there. Appreciate that. I heard talks about them doing something with that space in Harbor Park and bringing in the casino.
We're looking at that MacArthur Center. So we've got a consulting firm. It was announced at the State of the City that's looking at revisioning that. We've got Military Circle. There's a whole aspect down there. And so the casino, all that portion down on Military, all in Super Ward 7, along with Ward 4 with Councilman Page. So we're looking at those things. How do we activate that? But then also working with other members of council to look at Granby Street. Right. How do we bring back a sense of vibrancy? Working with the Downtown Norfolk Council to try to bring back First Fridays. And what does that look like? With Antonio and Cousins Music Festival, this is the second year of that. That's something that's bringing people, and I was there last year, man. It was bringing people from all over the Eastern Seaboard down here. And so that becomes something that becomes destination tourism. How do we bring people in here? And when we get them here, how do we show them a good time? Oh, man. That does it. People like the concerts. Give them a reason to come to the state, with those events that's happening and the upgrades. Like you said, the vision that people are putting out there. That's why I made it a thing to say that, you brought all that to fruition with your vision and you collaborating with people and being resourceful, to help out the city of Norfolk. And it's great things. Appreciate it. I heard you mention singing as one of your favorite pastimes. So what role does singing play in your life? Oh man, it's a multitude of different things. I started singing at a young age, started in church. I'm a praise and worship leader singing in the choir at my church. I'm also the international administrator for the Supermass Choir for Full Gospel Baptist Church, and so international. So I'm singing with the likes of William Murphy III and so many others. I knew Tasha Cobbs. Between Tasha Cobbs and Tasha Cobbs. Oh, okay. So you knew it before, PJ Borden and all these folks down there. So. That's one of the things that I do. So I'm a lay leader in that respect and serving. But then also I'm classically trained. I went to the Governor's School for the Arts, and I've been with Virginia Opera, believe it or not, 33 years. Wow. And so that's when I was singing things. Literally last night, just finished opening night for Love and Be Virginia. So we just did a world premiere of that one. And so this is supposed to be my off day. But tomorrow I got church, and then I got a show in the afternoon. And and I was sitting there thinking in my mind going, yo man, I got a free afternoon. I got a show. I won't get out till 5:30. So yeah. Wow. Favorite song? If you can name a couple, that just get your creative flowing and different songs. Because songs is moods and stuff. And that's the thing about it. My genre of music is all over. I mean, and I'm one of these type of folks that I'm Music is an emotional connection for me.
Okay.
So this is why, for me, I didn't pursue it full time, because it's something I enjoy doing. And like right now, to ask me a song, I'm like, oh man, I was just like, I was listening yesterday, literally cutting my grass, Let Go, Let God, PJ Gordon, but that's one of those things, because I can apply that in the respect that all of us at some point have just had multitude of things that come at us, but you got to sometimes know how to just let go. And some things you can't control the things that you can, and the things you can't, you just got to roll.
Man, that's powerful, man. And that's something I definitely believe in, and it works every time.
Oh, absolutely. Because worrying don't get you anything.
No, it does.
It's like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it'll move you nowhere.
That's a good analogy to look at it. I had to learn that that you definitely got to let go and let God sometimes. And the things you can't help, you help.
Exactly.
What's out of your control, you just let God handle the rest.
Exactly.
He sees it for you. He foresees, the things that you're going to encounter and the roads that you're going to go down. So I definitely believe that 100%.
Absolutely.
Favorite artist?
Oh man. PJ Morton is definitely one. I love PJ. Jonathan McReynolds. Okay. And the thing I love with PJ and Jonathan is that they are gospel artists, but then there's a sense of love and with their music. So sometimes you'll get PJ, and PJ is singing about love, but you kind of look at, but then you figure out he's also playing the keys for Maroon 5.
Right.
So, but but then I can jump all the way to Dorinda Clark. But then I'm also singing with, right now she's directing, but Denise Graves. Okay. Denise Graves is an internationally acclaimed opera singer. But Denise's voice is just like out of this world.
Amazing.
Amazing. But it's sometimes you'll see me. You hear me say gospel, classical and stuff. But yes, it's known when people kind of be looking at me like when I'm playing. Jeezy and something else that would go.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I like the beat,
Right, he's still you at the end of the day. Would you cut an album? Just for, just to put on your bucket list?
So I've been on some recordings.
Okay.
With full gospel. The amount of time to try to do that, it's like I said, I enjoy singing, but it's not the thing right now. But I will say, when I was president of the National Urban League Young Professionals, I created a choir. Okay. So I literally go back every year, even though my presidency is over with, the choir is still the One Movement choir. And it was a way of bringing together an older generation of urban leaguers with the younger generation. And what better way to do that than through music? Because that's something that's an equalizer for everybody.
Absolutely.
And so we go back every year, have our rehearsals, and on that Saturday morning conference, we had church. Yeah. And folks are just like, where literally a program was dying off. My first year presidency, I walked in, I said, I know how I'm gonna fix this. Music, man. And we're looking at cutting our first album in the next year. So that will be, I guess you could say, a project.
Exclusive, another exclusive. We're getting exclusives today. Being someone that's deeply involved in the community and with your vision and, just reaching out to people, just being resourceful, what would you tell a young person that's trying to make the same impact on the community, what role they should take or what they should do about making a difference as well?
The most important thing I would tell people, especially a young person, is don't let anybody ever put you in a box. Okay. And what I mean by that is that if you asked me where my life trajectory was going to be, it was that I was on the trajectory to be a world famous opera singer. Right. And it came to my senior year in high school where I had to make a choice to go to conservatory, and all I was going to do was focus on music. Right. Or I was being pulled because I was a tech nerd. I was in the Virginia Technology Student Association, and I debated, and I loved politics, and I loved service, and it was just like, I got so many things at me, but I got somebody telling me you got to choose one. The message that I choose to everyone is that you have to make the choice. Yeah, you can choose one, and that's all you can focus on. Right. Or you can be a resourceful individual that's diverse and have multitudes of talents. And so I'm a singer that's an elected official, that's also a tech nerd, who's also a policy junkie. So you can be a multitude of different things. So take your passion, connect, find a mentor. Find somebody who's doing something similar to what you want to do and reach out to them. LinkedIn is a great way of connecting and finding resources and finding people who are doing the things that you want to emulate and do in your own way. To find out their stories. No one person knows everything,
Right.
but create what I consider your table. And that table, in that respect, your boardroom, because they use that term, where you find people who support and who will pour into you. And you may be on somebody else's boardroom table, but connecting with the right people, making a plan, and writing stuff down. That's important, because a lot of times we come up with great ideas, things that we want to do, but we never put them pen to paper.
Right.
And there's something about putting things to pen to paper that help you to make it like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. There's a level of commitment. You've taken that first thing and taken it from idea, putting it on a sheet of paper now. Now it's time to commit. And if that's what you want to do now, I'm big picture. So in other words, when I look at something, I was like, all right, if I want to get this done, all right, I've identified I want to do this, but now how do I get it done? And so I'm strategic in the respect of, I need to touch this, I got to do that, I need to talk to this person, that else, so that I can get that done. And so that's how my brain operates. And I would just encourage another person just to say, hey, write it down, build that boardroom table, find somebody who's doing something similar. If they're not doing exactly what you want to do, then what is that one part or something that they're doing that will help you become a better person and get closer to what you want to do?
Oh man, those are great words of encouragement for anybody that's aspiring to make a difference, whether it be small or big. Just be you, basically, and stay true to self. And like you said, if you got a vision you have sought out for yourself, do it. So I agree with that.
And volunteer.
Volunteer. Okay.
Because you got to put yourself in spaces. Because if you want to make change, or you want to see things different, because there's different things. So there's the personal growth, and I want to make sure I clarify this. Professional and personal growth is one thing, but when you want to change community, you can't change anything if you aren't present.
Right.
And so this is why I encourage young people, show up. Your civic league meeting. Yeah, there may be, man, there's a whole bunch of old folks there, but guess what? You may be the one young person there that can invite other young people to get there. But until you show up, it's just gonna be a bunch of old folks there.
Right.
That have one track, one experience, one lived experience, where you can come in and be at the table and bring your lived experiences to help them. But then also vote. I'm gonna put that out there. We had almost 46 million people who did not vote in this last election. And yeah, there's more people who didn't vote that voted. Their elections have consequences. So understand that no matter what, your voice, your vote is power. And so you've got to make sure that you've taken 10 people with you to make sure that it's there. If they all align with you in the respect of, this is what I'm thinking about, get out there and get them there. Serve on boards and commissions. In the city of Norfolk, we have almost 500 people who are representatives of people who live here in the city of Norfolk.
Right.
From everything from planning, economic development, to trees.
Right.
But guess what? You're a young person, get a seat at the table. Lend your voice, your experience, your lived experience, so that we have a better understanding of how we make decisions. So you gotta be present.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta be there. You
gotta be there. And don't just complain about what you don't see.
Right.
Be there. And that's one of the things as a councilman, for me, I'm going to create opportunities and spaces for young people, a multitude of different people. That's why I have my Gumbo Coalition that we're putting out there, because I don't need yes people around me. I want people who are going to challenge the norm, who are going to force me to think outside of what my lived experiences is, to be able to understand and see where your perspective is. And so the Gumbo Coalition is just that, bringing people from all different walks of life. From Super Ward 7 is mass, man. We've got very affluent neighborhoods, neighborhoods that are stressed. How do we bring those folks together to understand that, look, this community needs a little bit more than with your community, and how can you help and support that? And so Gumbo, how I came up with that, it's an acronym, but essentially, you know, if you have some good gumbo, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. When you pull it together, it makes something awesome.
What's the acronyms for?
Well, don't put me on the spot on that one today.
We just go with Gumbo. We just go with Gumbo. Yeah, we can go with Gumbo.
But it's coalition.
Got you. I love it. So outside your accomplishments and your accolades that you've pretty much done throughout the years of just your servitude to Norfolk, the city of Norfolk, what or who had a significant role or a significant influence in your life?
Ooh, wow. Definitely my mom, my mother, Patricia Clanton. She passed in 2017, but my mom, single parent, she had 3 kids. Didn't always agree with everything down there, but as an adult, I realized the sacrifices and the things that my mother made for us. My grandmother, Charlene Cox, who was a girl from North Carolina. She had a middle school education, but when we go back, my grandmother had top A grade credit, this, that, but she had it to the point where every Christmas, holiday came around school time, my grandma pulled out that JCPenney credit card, make sure we had everything we did, and didn't realize that she worked all year long to make sure that those things were taken care of. My church family, and I tell people I have a lot of mothers that are out there, and adopted fathers who have poured into me. Geraldine Boone, I could just go down there, who's introduced me to the world of opera. She was my middle school chorus teacher. I owe a whole lot to her because she also perfected me in the respect of, she would pull my cheek when I was at Blair Middle School, man, and would tell me when I would not be using the correct language. Right. She would pull me and she was like, Mr. Clanton, you cannot master the King's language. So, because she knew that there would be spaces and places for me at some time that I would need to know how to communicate. And then at Maury High School, and I think about it, retired McPond Dwayne Bushy. Mr. Bushy was a tech ed teacher down there. He was a woodshop. Yeah. So Bushy, man, his first year, he was my advisor when I was in the Technology Student Association, and not knowing who Bushy really was, I remember being in his office one day, man, and I'm looking up, and there's a book with Bushy's name on it. I was like, Bushy, who are you, man? Like, really? To come to find out, he's McPond 7. Okay. And I'm like, he was the Master Chief Petty Officer of the United States Navy. Wow. The highest ranking enlisted man in the United States Navy. Humble farmer kid from the Eastern Shore. And he rose up into the ranks. And then when he retired from that, serving in that position, advising and talking to generals, he decided to become a technology education teacher and to teach kids in Maury High School. Wow. And Mr. Bushy was there at my swearing-in ceremony. He was one of the people on the program to speak. And Bushy taught me so much about leadership and honor and doing the right thing, even when people aren't looking, or even when you aren't getting accolades for it. You will know that you're doing the right thing. And so Bushy was up there, and I don't think I've ever seen Bushy in my entire life choke up and cry. But he was so proud of me, and I was sitting down, I was just like, man, Bushy don't do that.
Because Bushy just has a look,
I mean, Bushy would be the guy, y'all, young guys go on the challenge, be like, oh man, you can't do nothing. But Bushy out there on the track field, outside the classroom, dusting some, like, man. But yeah, so it's a multitude. It's like that gumbo coalition. It was a little bit of everybody who poured into me, and I am the person I am today because somebody took out a moment of time or took interest in seeing that there was what could be the potential. And that's why when I served on the school board, and today when I see young people, I work in juvenile justice now, and I always look at not what you have done or haven't done yet, but what the potential could be. And so even when I get young individuals who've made a mistake, that's not going to define your life. And so I want you to see that, yes, that may be the moment right now, but how can you rise above that?
Norfolk has a rich culinary scene. Do you have a favorite local restaurant that you like to eat at and would recommend to both residents and visitors?
Man, like you said, we have a rich culinary scene. So it's a lot of different go-tos. Like if I want some good soul food, I'm probably going over the south side to E. Palmer's to the cafeteria, because they got, man, the oxtail and turkey wings. It's there. But then, anybody knows me, I love Fish and Pig on 25th Street with Tom and his restaurant there. So if I want, good mixture, I can get some catfish and, but then there's all shucks, which, you want some good jambalaya, some black catfish. I mean, it's a multitude. I can go all over. I love Thai. So, Rainbow Garden, there's Volcano, when I get sushi. I mean, I'm all over. Yeah. And if I want just to be really bad, I'm going to Manny Burger.
Manny Burger.
Yo, I'm telling you.
Landmark.
So, Landmark, right there in Lafayette. Dang, get that Manny Burger double.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
It's not going nowhere. Absolutely. I'm make sure we're doing the whole facade thing. But it's things like that that are hidden. I could just go on and on and on, but there are a lot of hidden places. But look, if there's some good spots, y'all make sure you tag and put it in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Put it down in the comment section as well, and your experiences with the restaurants that Carlos has named as well. What's 3 things you can't live without?
Oh, well, first of all, I can't live without God. That's the first thing.
Right.
Second of all, I'm gonna have to say music. Music plays an important place down there, and I would probably say the other thing is family, just my family and friends, man. I am one of those people, like, I have a lot of associates, a lot of people know me, but no matter what, if you come to me, we're gonna feel like you family. I just show love to people, but I'm very to myself kind of thing. Like, I'm a workaholic, so I'm about the mission and doing work, and so you have to find there are people in life that you make personal sacrifices to do things, and I know that the work that I'm doing is making an exponential impact in a major way for a lot of people.
Oh man, that's dope, man. Definitely appreciate your works and everything that you've done for the city and beyond.
Appreciate it.
You definitely down to earth, like you said, and meeting you, like you said, it's like we've known each other, and I appreciate it about you, and you being able to reach out to people and of course use your resources and stuff too.
Absolutely.
So thank you. And where can the people find you?
Yeah, so definitely one of the things I set up was a constituent website, so you can go to Councilman Clanton, CLANTON.com. I'm on Instagram. I'm getting rid of my ex, Twitter. So go find me on Threads. But you can see me, I'm just like, so C Clanton for Norfolk, the number 4. Also on Instagram, Facebook as well. Just look at my name. And I want to start people too. So if you hit me up, I'm gonna reach out to you. And also my city cell is 757-796-2800. My rule is that you can call, text me anytime. I'm here to be able to serve. I may not get to you right then and there, but I will always follow back up with you.
Always, man. Again, thank you for your time.
Hey, man, appreciate it.
This been dope, man. Appreciate this. We got to do this another time for part 2.
Absolutely. No doubt. I'm all for it.
If you could refer somebody to do one of these sit-downs, who would you refer that that would be interested in doing something like this?
Ooh, sit down, refer to somebody who could probably, get JP. Get JP Page. Yeah, my colleague there. JP has a different perspective on things down there, but I'm looking forward to working with JP and kind of joining forces with him, man. But yeah, I'll put JP Page, Councilman JP Page.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah, or Aaron Rouse, Senator Aaron Rouse out there, Delegate Alex Askew, Delegate Michael Fagans. They're all younger guys in there who are out there doing the work. And of course, somebody who my predecessor in respect, Danica Royster. She'll tell you now, she's Citizen Royster now. Okay. But Danica's still out doing work, man. She may not have the title of council, but she's still in the trenches doing work. So yeah.
Somebody referred her to me too, so yeah. I know you know some people. That's what I said. You'd be the great person to ask, who would you recommend to do one of these as well? Because this was dope. And again,
appreciate it.
Appreciate your time.
All right, no doubt.
Again, for y'all that was watching, hope you enjoyed this. I know I did. And we at Front Row. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Appreciate your subscription. This is Also Dope Live. Again, here with Norfolk Councilman Carlos Clanton. Thank you for watching. Until next time, gone.